things got away from me a little bit for a number of reasons. Firstly, I realised when I put this mead down a couple of weeks later, when it was still going, or a month later actually, that it wasn't going to be ready in time for the day show. So I didn't bother about it. I just left it up in the fermentation cupboard, up in the top of it, and just let it do its thing. So this has just been sitting up there, and I thought I would do this as also a bit of an experiment, just to see. I mean, a lot of people say you've got to get your mead, or you've got to get your wine, or you've got to get your beer off the yeast as quickly as possible. I've left mead on the yeast for months before, 3 months now. This is probably closer, well, let me think. I think I put this on in either May, I think it's probably May last year, and it's now February. No, it's now March. So it's 10 months it's been sitting up in the fermentation cupboard, just developing. Now normally what I would do is I would wait for primary fermentation to finish, maybe wait a couple of weeks past that, and that's usually the 6-week mark, and I would then rack that off and put it into another fermenter without the lees. So what we call crude in beer making is called lees in wine making, and mead is a honey wine, so we call it lees. So I just decided I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to let it go. Normally my meads will go for 6 to 10 months anyway, because it does take a long time for those flavours to develop, for some of the more volatile elements in the alcohol to kind of meld back in and mellow out a bit. So I just left it. And now it's time to bottle it. Okay, so let's have a quick taste and see what it's like. That is very dry. You definitely get the honey taste, but it's very dry. I'll do the numbers after, put them on the screen, but my guess is that that's gone well below 1.0. So for my money, that does need a lot of sweetening. I think I'm going to have to sweeten this because it is so dry, it's mouth-puckeringly dry. A little bit more honey in that would be beautiful. That's going to bring out the honey flavours, obviously. Okay, I've sterilised my spoon. It's not going to be quite long enough, but it'll do. And I have my honey. So this is honey from our hives. Fresh, untreated, it's not heat treated at all, so there'll be little bits of, no, there's no wax in there, but it's had plenty of time to settle. But how much do you need to put in, that's the question. Well, that all depends on your personal taste. I'm going to start there and just see how that goes. Now this has the added benefit of degassing at the same time. That's the other reason I should have done this in the first place. Now I'm going to use a second glass for tasting. That one, that's the original unsweetened, and I'm going to use that to test the mead, just to see what the alcohol percentage is and what it dried out to. Definitely smell the honey, but you can smell the alcohol. There's no heat from the alcohol, and that's it. If you let this mellow out, you won't get that really hot fusel alcohol taste. That's better. Even just that little bit of honey. It's not the clearest mead I've made, but I haven't gone through those clearing processes. I haven't done the secondary rack. I haven't added anything into this to try and get it to clear out. The only thing I did was when I moved it the other day, I was actually going to do this a couple of days ago, but when I moved it, I stirred up the leaves on the bottom. Got these little, sort of clouds coming up from the bottom. So what I did was I put it in the fridge and I cold crashed it to try and encourage all of that to settle back out again. What I might do is I'm going to leave this one at that sweetness level. The other one I might make a little bit sweeter. Might just, because there's still a little bit of honey in the bottom there, just get that to mix in. You can't see what I'm doing there, so I'll bring it around. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this spoon. It's a little too short, I can't quite reach the bottom. Let's move that box out of the way so you can see. So I've just given this a quick sanitize. So all I'm doing is I've got a little bit of honey stuck to the bottom there. It hasn't dissolved in, so all I'm trying to do is get that bit of honey to dissolve in. That's better. Can't pour that back in there. Try it again. Yeah. It's actually, that sweetness brings out the harshness a little bit more. Okay, because I haven't bottled for so long, and because that's not working, nothing's working, I'm just going to get a tea towel and put that down to catch any spills. And I'm going to gently get this in here. Just slowly, I don't want to splash too much and cause any oxidation. Cap on. Now, there is another way to stop fermentation or stop re-fermentation, and that's by just putting them into the fridge, and being the lazy bastard I am, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put these in the fridge, straight in the fridge. That way they won't kick off again. They're not going anywhere, they're not coming out and sitting on a shelf. That's not quite to my taste. And it's only honey. Yep, okay. That's nicer. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to bore you by showing you the whole process all over again, but what I'll do is once I get this racked off into the pitcher, I'll do the measurements again and then we'll take it from there. 10:13, so this didn't finish as dry. Okay, let's go back and take a look at the ABV. 11.7%. So even though it's finished a lot higher, it's only a little bit less in percentage. Let's have a quick taste. I'm getting. This honey came from the winter gums, the gums that flower in winter. And that's what I'm getting on the nose. I'm getting that Australian bush smell. Oh wow. I'm not going to change that. That is perfect just the way it is. Just to be sure. Yeah. It's nice and smooth. That rolls off the tongue. The body's not too thick. Some meads I find if they're sweetened too much, the body gets really heavy and thick. That's just quite nicely balanced. I'm getting those smells of the Australian gum. Oh wow. I didn't think that they would come through to the mead. I thought that the yeast would chew through them. The honey itself does give you that flavour. So that's it for now. That's the mead, done and bottled. First tasting. I mean, yeah, that's the 12.5%. Not quite my favourite. The 11.7% is absolutely beautiful. You do get those honey flavours, honey on the nose. Nothing wrong with it. It's me. I will do another tasting in about a month or so, just to give it time to, now that it's off the lease, just to settle, let those flavours combine a bit more. Like I said, mead can take 12 months, 2 years to develop and mature. The longer you leave it, the better it gets. And this is just about how I like it now. So that's great. I mean, that's, you know, what more can you want? You know, a couple of dollars worth of honey. Well, for me, free honey, some water, some yeast, some cup of tea, some raisins to go in there to add just a little bit of nitrogen, nutrient, and also to add a little bit of that grapey, winey flavour in there as well, which you do pick up slightly, but not really. It's not a heavy forward flavour. I've got, you know, sort of a 3/4 bottle there, and another one of these is only, oh yeah, that one there, that's half full. So they'll be drunk fairly quickly, but the rest of them, they'll take their time. I'll be back in a month, and I'll do another tasting on these and let you know how it goes. There's plenty over here. It's going to last me a while, so you'll get to see how this is developing over time, assuming that it develops well. Anyway, that's it for this episode. If you haven't already, subscribe. I know a lot of you still haven't subscribed to the channel, so click that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you see when new videos are coming out. Support the channel. We've got these t-shirts on our shop, the link is below. Carpe Cervisier, seize the beer, or in this case, seize the honey wine. That's one way of supporting the channel. Subscribing is another way. Clicking the like button, still better yet. Commenting. That lets YouTube know that this content is valuable, that you're enjoying it, that you like it, that you're getting something from it, and it gets out there even better. Finally, we do have Patreon. There are free options, and then from $2 a month. If you're getting something from the channel, think about subscribing through Patreon just to support us a little bit. Patreon.com/Backyard Brewer again, link is in the description. Remember, enjoy the hobby, but drink responsibly. Sluncher.